Welcome to A-Bomb to Zzzax. With me, Colin Holt. And my friends Dan Snellgrove and Jamie Firth. Here they come!
Hello! Welcome back to A-Bomb to Zzzax. They're here. The boys are back.
Ooh, hiya.
Assemble. Sexy Dan is here. And Jamie's always sexy, of course. Welcome back to A-Bomb to Zzzax, my favourite Marvel character, where we go through every single Marvel character from A-Bomb all the way to Zzzax, which we do when we're 90. I can't wait. And we talk about them and rate them. I chat about how much I love Marvel Comics. My name's Colin. I love Marvel Comics. My two friends sort of like Marvel Comics. But first, we've got a very special guest joining us this time. Please welcome Mr. Scott Walker. The angels of Marvel are coming to take you away. Thank you, Scott. That was lovely. Wow. From beyond the grave.
That's a good get.
Beyond the grave, Scott Walker. Who would have thought?
Didn't expect that.
Booking.
There's a big question of whether, there's a big question about dying, whether you can talk from the afterlife. And I think podcasts are probably the best place to pick them up. There must have been a sort of lo-fi shit horror movie about that. A podcast that picks up ghosts. I don't know. If not, come on, do it. The ghost of Scott Walker. Anyway, that's right. That was Scott Walker letting us know that this week we are meeting Marvel's Angels. We're meeting 4 different angels. They're all, three called Angel. One is called Angela. Her super name is Angela, which it does make me think of Auntie Angela.
It makes
me better than Barbara. Barbara would be a better superhero name, I think. Yes, Dan, what was that?
Well, there's that like ask for Angela thing, isn't there?
Ask for Angela. What's that?
No, ask.
I'm sorry. I'm not giving my answer to Angela.
I can translate that into Northern for you. It's ask Angela.
Ask for Angela.
Yeah.
Well, you want to give her your ass?
No, leave that out of it.
Ask for Angela. If you're in the bar and someone's being creepy or whatever, you get Angela.
Yeah.
And imagine if you got this Angela as well.
Goodness me.
You'd sort them out all right. That would actually be really cool if you have to ask for Angela and then she just turns it. That would be a good little story. Marvel could do that. Anyway, ironically, of course, Angela is the only one who's actually a sort of angel in a way. The rest are just called Angel, have decided to call themselves Angel. Well, this week we're going to be taking you to heaven and back. And when I say heaven, there's no A in it, which I did Google. And apparently heaven can be spelled that way in the Middle Ages. And it said something like "if you're simple," but I don't think it means that. It says it's a simpler way of spelling heaven if you really can't remember to put that A in the middle.
Yeah, they made a lot of spelling mistakes back then as well.
They made a lot of mistakes. Yeah, well, they were just coming up with the language. So joining me, 2 of my dearest friends, 2 angels who come to this earth every week or so to spare me from the daily drudgery of my actually quite wonderful life so I can talk to them about Marvel Comics. Firstly, with his luscious locks and Gabriel-like piousness and purity, it's Jamie Firth. Say hello, Jamie.
Hello, Jamie. Yes, I thought that was Snelga's introduction.
Oh, did you really? Well, I was going to say, and then more in the fashion of the original biblical angel with hundreds of hideous eyes and gnashing teeth. It's Dan Snellgrove.
That fella.
Did you know the original angel was apparently that? I keep seeing it pop up in sketches. Apparently, the cherubim thing, the whole men or babies with wings.
Yeah.
It's a thing that came much later. Originally, if you read the Bible, which obviously we all have. When they mention angels, they're like these kind of like kind of xenomorph creatures. Is that what they're called from Alien?
Blimey.
Yeah, with hundreds of eyes and some weird million fingers or something weird like that. Anyway, so this week I thought, so with my new little formula for A-Bomb to Zzzax, for all our lovely listeners out there, and if you are a lovely listener, please consider becoming a Patreon at A-Bomb to Zzzax. No, at patreon.com/A-Bomb to Zzzax. God, one day I'll get it right. It's where you can get some extra wonderful content, and you can see the list, the order, the spreadsheet that is being created, so you can read all the comics with us and learn about these wonderful characters as we do. This week we are loving angels instead, but I think I've done about 4 intros here, but who through it all will offer us protection, a lot of love and affection, and who will be the devil in disguise? I feel like I do links for the weakest link. That's why I'm at. Firstly, boys, how are you?
Well, I'm full of laughter now for that.
I've done a lot to try and make you giggle.
All of my eyes are flapping open and closed in joy to be back with you boys.
Although if the way you show laughter is by opening and closing your eyes, 100 eyes. You're back from Patagonia, etc.
Yes, I'm back.
You went to the edge of the world. Was it literally the edge of the world?
Well, yes, it's the fin del mundo, the end of the world, down in Ushuaia, the most southerly city in the world. Yeah.
In Del Mundo, fin as in end, and Del Mundo as in
like on Bongo. But...
Right, wow, you could fall off. Yeah. But you had a lovely time out there, traveling across South America. Did you find anything like the Savage Land with creatures?
This is it. Yeah, I've been to the land of the fire. Was it the Fuego? What is it called in the? I should know this.
Yeah, Fuego del something. Del Dinos. Fuego del.
Oh my god, I should have remembered this.
Fuego del Brava.
Yeah, I've been through there.
Do they do you good old English breakfast?
Yeah,
that's what I want to know.
I sip me pint of
Never
Foster.
mind all this back. Can you get like a little those little mobility scooters to go around it? Because if you can't, I'm not coming. I
went to Fuego del Bravo and all I got was this T-shirt.
Yeah. And chased by a bloody T-Rex. Ah.
I mean, to be fair, I passed through it on a coach and then ended up in Ushuaia. So I didn't see a lot of it, the Fuego del... I'm looking this up now because I'm so embarrassed. I've just come back from this place.
You look that up. You like that. You lick that up. How are you, Jamie? You okay?
I'm very well. Yes. I'm glad you mentioned Jurassic Park because my nephew, who's a young boy, was watching Jurassic Park this week and said, it's only got 1 T-Rex in it. It's like... I shall speak to Michael Crichton immediately. You know what? You should have had 2, possibly more.
You say that, but what you can say to your nephew is they do that in The Lost World, the whole big thing, which is Jurassic Park 2, which I haven't seen since it came out, but we have been playing Lego Jurassic World on the PS4, which is a lot of fun. I highly recommend if you need a Christmas present. In The Lost World, they do have 2 T-Rexes.
Double T-Rex.
It doesn't make it better. More is not necessarily better. It's the worst of the Jurassic Park films, arguably, apart from the third one. Arguably, they're all not very good apart from the first one. So you tell him to be happy with that T-Rex.
Yeah.
I mean, what about something with 100 T-Rexes? Would that be... That's like what my son watches on YouTube. You just see 100 T-Rexes like hitting 100.
That sounds like a sort of reality show where they like a Korean reality show where they whittle it down and last T-Rex standing.
Yeah, well they do that, but it's a cartoon. It's not real T-Rexes because none of this stuff is real.
What
is that like? Where they have what would win out of 100 T-Rexes or 10,000 chickens? And they have
it's literally like that, and you just see them run at each other.
Yeah.
But in reality, you just have like kind of library music that's like going dun 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 like that, and then just like sort of slowly, sort of like badly moving computer animations bashing into each other, and then some blood. He watches it for a long time. He loves it. And to be fair, it is fun. Anyway, enough about that. We're talking angels. So a part of my new formula for A-bomb to Zzzax is, rather than just going like, we'll do the next 3 A's in the list, I do angel, let's do all the angels. We'll get to Ant-Man, let's do all the Ant-Mens. That kind of fun thing. I'm trying to, I'm curating it a little more, shall we say. So do you believe in angels, boys, for a start? Do you feel they're with us now, guiding us through? Do you think there's one behind me right now saying, do it, do the podcast? It'll be good.
This is clearly divine, this podcast.
Yes.
There's something holy about it. I've also written, do you believe in angles, which I thought was very funny when I wrote.
Brilliant.
What you can't see at home, because it's a podcast, is that Colin has a light above his head, which does have a sort of halo, a halo-like effect.
Yeah. Oh, do I really?
Yes.
Oh, actually. Oh, how lovely. Oh, maybe I am an angel. So, angels, are they around us? Have you ever seen what's it called? Heart of Angels? No. The Wim Wenders film where all the angels appear, but you can't, they're just like men in coats. Not Men in Coats, the variety act from the early 2000s, but they're literally just men walking around in coats, occasionally like passing someone a book or something. But
I've seen people like that. So
Wings of Desire. No, I know you've seen Men in Coats. It's called Wings of Desire. It's really good. It's really good. They remade it with Nicolas Cage, called City of, and that was not so good. But anyway.
Right.
An angel falls in love with a human, I think, and then but mostly it is just mostly these black and white scenes of people in libraries and angels just reading their books next to them.
Well, they sound nice.
Nice idea. Okay, in Marvel, none of these angels are in any way like that. We're going through the 4 different angels, as I said, and the other new thing I'm doing for this wonderful, one of the best podcasts out there, is doing a little potted history of each of the characters as we go through them, just to get everyone up to speed, because I realize sometimes we read these comics and we blah 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 and we go all over the shop, but maybe it'd be good for people just get a handle on who these people are. And it was also a good test to see how much I know, because I don't check it. Okay, so first of all, we're going for Angel, the most famous angel. His superhero's name is Angel. His real name is Warren Kenneth Worthington III. I've known that for a lot. Anyone know why I might know that?
Why am I being a nerd?
That? Well, I know it because I'm an awful nerd. Why do I remember that specifically?
Is your middle name Kenneth as well?
My middle name is Kenneth as well.
Yay!
I am one of the Kenneths. I just always love the detail that they put. I've never seen any other superheroes have middle names, but for some reason, whenever it said his name, it would say Warren Kenneth Worthington III, which I find very amusing. He was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Feel free if you want to jump in on this, by the way, because I've written about 40 pages. Not really. Angel was one of the original 5 X-Men with Cyclops, Beast, Jean Grey, Iceman, and creepy bald Professor X, known for flapping around a bit, occasionally holding a bazooka or a big stick. There are ones where he's just holding a big stick trying to hit people, while the Professor makes him fly through endless, absolute death traps. He was dripping with wealth and privilege, unlike the gawky orphan Cyclops. Angel swanned in a lovely suit, drooling over the only girl in class, occasionally popping out on his own as the Avenging Angel. For years, he hangs out with the X-Men, mainly ineffectually flapping and flashing his cash, until they all get captured by a massive, bloody living island who somehow feeds on mutant love juice. I was going to put something rude to that, but I didn't. And is humiliated when the new, better and refreshingly diverse X-Men rescue him. Being a snooty rich kid, he does not approve of hairy Canadians, commies, and African goddesses, and leaves in a huff. Okay, with me so far. So he's left the X-Men at this point in his history. He just can't accept flapping about isn't that helpful as a superhero, so he demands he has solo adventures with Spider-Man and so on. Joins some of the worst teams in Marvel, the New Defenders, the Champions of Los Angeles. That was a real group called We Are the Champions of Los Angeles. He just keeps sort of joining all these groups, because he's got the money. It's something about Elon Musk about him.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, he's just got loads of money, but he knows his superhero power isn't that good. So he can fly. He loves it, But then in between that, he seems to spend a lot of time with his long-term girlfriend, Candy, rarely wearing any clothes. He's almost always in his pants and sitting on a butt, chatting to birds like a loser. Finally, the old X-Men get over themselves, have a midlife crisis, and go, you know what? We're actually really good. fuck these new guys. We're going to reform as X Factor with the infinitely stupid idea of pretending to be humans hunting mutants so that they can imprison them and retrain them or some shit. I still don't quite understand what happens there. You don't need to know. Anyway, Warren goes back to flapping about and perving on Jean, especially now Scott's married to a different woman who looks exactly like her. But supervillains have changed since Warren last flapped about. Boy, is he in for a shock. I feel like I'm doing a radio drama here. I'm really enjoying this. I hope you're too. These guys don't just talk to locusts or be really fat. They rip your wings off, pin them to a wall with bloody harpoons, mate. Warren can't stand losing his wings and blows himself up in a plane. Morrissey's joined us for this little section. Angel, don't take your life. Some people have got no pride. They do not understand the urgency of life. Thank you, Morrissey. That was Morrissey there. I mean, I can't believe
Neil Morrissey, I think it was.
That was Neil Morrissey. Thank you, Neil Morrissey. Well done. Well for singing Morrissey. Has Neil Morrissey ever sung Morrissey in a reality show?
We could make that happen.
We could make it happen, or on a Marvel-based podcast. Right, we're nearly at the end. So what's happened? He's lost his wings. They've been ripped off, amputated. He blows himself up. Somehow, he gets resurrected by Darwinian-obsessed mouth breather Apocalypse, resurrects him with new razor-sharp metal wings as his fourth horseman, Death. But he beats his brainwashing, rejoins X-Factor as the deadly Archangel. Don't mess with me, harpoon-based baddies. I'll chop your bloody head off, mate. He replaces flapping for swooping and chopping for a few years until in a fight with Sabretooth, he gets his metal wings ripped off. And what do you know? There's only bloody his old wings inside. So he's back to being Old Angel again. He flaps around, creeping and flashing the cash until an actual mutant werewolf called Wolfsbane rips off his wings again. This time, we discover those real wings were metal wings posing as real wings. It's complicated. Finally, he joins the really quite unpleasantly violent X-Force, who are a paramilitary X-Men team, starts chopping and swooping until his apocalyptic programming kicks in. He turns into the Dark Angel, ready to take over the world or some such. His current bit of source, Psylocke. I'm not sure bit of source is okay. I went for a few possibilities. His current bit of source, Psylocke, who is a Japanese ninja with a posh English woman's brain. Long story. She defeats him and he's back to being a feathered fellow, but now with the mind and personality of a 10-year-old at Jesus camp. The Angel. Da-da! Wow.
This is great. We don't have to read any of the comics.
I was going to say, it was just saved me a lot of reading.
Discuss. Okay, so that would have saved you a lot of reading, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That would have saved you a lot of reading. Maybe it's better if I just do that and then you ask me questions. Possibly. I think you need to have read some to have some opinion. All right. So I sent the boys loads of comics as always, and they did their best to read them. We read Kazar #2 from 1971, Marvel Fanfare #1 from 1982, X Factor from #15, X Factor #34, both from 1987, and Uncanny X-Force 18 from recently. I can't remember when. There we go. So, did you know Angel already? What was your opinion of Angel already? And how has it changed from reading these comics?
Well, we did see him before, didn't we? When we read about, when they were all being like jocks and like, they liked whoever the woman was. It Jean when she walked in? When Jean walked in, they all like, oh, So we met him there, didn't we? But I don't know if you said it in your bit there, but apparently he's very gorgeous. A couple of nurses were saying how gorgeous he is. So,
lovely blonde hair.
Yeah. So he's hunky as well.
From money as well. He can afford to look good.
Yeah, right. He can get the product in his hair and stuff much like Jamie, I suppose. Lovely hair.
Yeah.
I've
never really used any product in my life, and I think it shows. I just can't get my head around it. Hair doesn't make sense to me. I'm thinking of losing it all. Anyway, so Angel, yes, one of the original X-Men, but he's always been kind of ineffectual and a bit ugh.
There's a bit. I think there is a problem there, isn't there? With like your superpower is flying. There's loads that can fly and do other stuff as well, can't they? Are wings? Well, if anything, having those big wings is a bit of a downside because other people can fly and they don't have these wings that you have to strap down and put in a shirt. Which actually, when he does put them in a shirt, they do seem to disappear quite.
They're just completely gone. How does he do that? But what I find very upsetting is he like straps them down with belts. Ooh. So in Kazar number 2, weirdly, Kazar isn't in it at all. But anyway, don't worry about that. We meet him as a young man, a very young man, going out by himself fighting crime. My little bits I noticed from that is, well, his dad is killed by the Dazzler, not the Dazzler who is X-Men later on. The Dazzler is actually his uncle, by the way.
Oh.
Another Worthington.
I was surprised at that baddie name, the Dazzler.
Dazzler.
Sounded like some sort of like, I don't know, cabaret tap dancer.
Yeah.
It sounds like something an uncle would brand himself. Like, hey, call me the Dazzler. That's what they call me at the social.
You know, I used to be the Dazzler back in the day. Yeah. And he's desperate for their cash. He wants, you know, he's got that kind of Machiavellian. He wants their money. That's why he kills the dad. But yeah, in this, he goes to a disco with the Far Outs playing, a band literally called the Far Outs, and he says something about this is kooky.
The disco's called the Fun Place as well, isn't it?
It does. I mean,
out on a date.
Go to the fun place.
I'm sorry to hit it so early, but this is my director's chair quote.
Oh, let's hear it.
There's a band called the Far Outs playing, and somebody comments, "No wonder that combo is called the Far Outs. Any further out, and they'd be lost in space."
Yeah.
That is a wonderful line.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful line. No one of these. How would we do that? Dan, do you want to give that a go?
Right. And what was the line again? Sorry. So
no wonder that combo is called the Far Outs. Any further out, they'd be lost in space.
Any further out, they'd be lost in space.
Oh, that was good. You put a little at the end.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit Elvis-y. Yeah.
Yes, I didn't ask for that, love. Sorry.
No.
I'll be cutting that. I
I'm
can cut
going
it
to give
short.
you 3 options. One will have a ha 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 at the end, and one won't.
And I won't be using that one.
Yes. Okay, so he's got a very old mum and dad. They've got an It's a Wonderful Life feel, I felt. It feels, you know, James Stewart in that where he's got his mum. Feels very dated, doesn't it? But when he discovers his dad has been shot, he goes mad, flies out there, shoves on his costume, part of which involves sort of like red 80s yuppie braces.
He slings his girlfriend out the car as well. It's like, right, I've not time for this. I've got to
get out of my life.
I've got to go and avenge my father. Yes, get out of my life.
Get him out. God, he's very prone to temper tantrums. Well, is it a temper tantrum if your dad has been shot? To be fair,
I mean,
but don't take it out on him.
At the beginning of the comic, his dad is explained as being in very poor health and very old in any way. So it's like this is it's a bit of a much, isn't it?
I mean,
I like to think you'd still react badly if your dad was shot.
I do like that when they're talking about his ill health, his dad says, "Oh, it's these cigars, son. Don't take these cigars up. These cheap cigars, actually. It's not just cigars."
Does he say they're bad?
71, so we know by that point. It does feel very dated for 71, doesn't it? It feels like the 50s or something.
Yeah.
But then they're posh people. Posh people are weird.
Right.
You know what I mean? Posh people always have old stuff. You'd think posh people would have new stuff, but they always have old.
Absolutely no need for them to change.
Exactly. They've got it. What I like, there's one point, so he flies off beating up all these weird blokes on sort of flying discs. Who they're the Dazzler's men, by the way.
I think you'll find they're jet pogo sticks. They refer to them as jet pogo sticks because this was very much my question for Science Corner. How far away are we?
Wait. We'll get to Science Corner at the end, Jamie. We'll get to Science Corner. You hold that. Keep a pin in that.
Oh, God.
Very well.
My favorite line is when he punches one of them and shouts, "You've killed a wonderful man." You've killed a wonderful man.
That's a lovely touch.
Okay, so that's Angel as a young kid. Then we jump to 1982 Marvel Fanfare #1, which is a collection of short stories. This time Angel's become a bit of a relaxed billionaire playboy. or millionaire playboy. I don't know if he's ever a billionaire. He's sort of given up superheroing a bit, and he just hangs around the butte. Is it called a butte? I always thought it was a butte. Maybe it's a butte. You know, like those big rock things.
I'm learning.
No,
yeah, I thought that was Butte.
Is it butte? I don't know if the butte's even in it. But he goes to the Savage Land with Peter Parker. Great fun comic.
In the Tierra del Fuego. That's what it's called. Tierra del Fuego.
Yeah. At this point, he looks a bit more relaxed in himself, comfortable, let his hair down. He likes flapping around with the eagles.
Yeah, good for him.
Good for him. We're happy for him. He's happy with Candy. Candy's a little bit get on your nerves, would she?
Was she the one that meets? So there's the lady who arrives in the.
That's Tanya.
That's Tanya,
Yeah,
and
Tanya.
then is it Candy who meets her then?
Yes.
Ah,
yes.
okay.
She's in a
Tanya's
bikini.
looking- She's always in a. Basically, they just hang. There's something very boogie nights about Angel at this point. I don't know if he has his own adult film company, but I feel like he might as a hobby. I feel like everything's a bit of a hobby to him. Sure, I'll go to Savage Land and find your husband. Is it the love of her life?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So he hangs around as a billionaire playboy for a bit. Then he's back in X Factor, issue 15. Angel's had his wings cut off. I was going to show you the bit where his wings get cut off, or where they get damaged, which is a really upsetting comic where he's in the sewers and he actually quite heroically saves this poor little boy from these hideous guys called the Marauders, who have just been tasked with going through the sewers and killing all the homeless mutants. It's a really upsetting storyline, but he's kind of like going. It's quite good because he sort of does quite a like. Right, let's take down these bad guys. And then it's like he's bitten off more than he can chew. He's in a sewer for a start, so having wings is particularly unhelpful.
Yeah.
One of them just grabs his wings and crushes them, while the other one, whose name is Harpoon and whose power is harpoons, just pins him to the wall with these two harpoons. Crushing, horrible moment. Then cut to X Factor 15 and they've had to amputate the wings. He starts covered in bandages with just these horrible sort of lumps on his back where his beautiful feathers once stuck out.
I mean, when I got to that comic, I was like, okay, what's the next one to read? Okay, boom. Wallop. We went hard in there. Like, first page, pretty much. He's realising that they've been chopped off. Sorry, they were gangrenous. We had to chop them off. And then he, like, jumps in a plane and blows himself up. The end. It's like, what? What have I just read?
I mean, he kills himself by... It's quite surprising when he does. It comes out of nowhere. He's chartered a plane.
But he's flying it.
He's flying the plane because he wants to fly one more time. That's what he said, isn't it? But then he just presses a button that says arm and presses it and the whole thing blows up. I don't think planes should have those buttons.
Commercial planes, no. That's
I don't think
that's a design fault.
I don't think anything should have that button.
I mean, on the commercial plane, I do press all the buttons on the screen in front of me. Maybe I shouldn't do that anymore.
I'll be doing that again,
try and
mate.
find
There's
the
an arm
movies.
one.
Yeah.
If you get up with the pilot or whatever you do, don't press that. It just blows everything up.
No.
It was underneath glass. Like he did have. There was a safety mechanism. I think there was like a little flappy panel that you had to book. You'd have to want it. Yeah.
I still think you're asking for trouble putting a button that blows the plane up.
Yeah.
So he's dead. And I like the way a lot of that, I thought it was quite well done, the way they were talking about him and worrying about him. The others.
Is he in a relationship with Jean Grey at this point? Because
no, at this point,
he says something about you can't love me with no wings.
Which is a weird thing to say because most people don't have wings.
No, that's notable.
And I've never had, I mean, me and my wife, we do clash over stuff, but that's never come up.
I haven't got a girlfriend and I haven't got wings. I'm just saying.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe, scientifically, are you the control? No, I don't think that's one, Connor, but you are. Okay, so don't have wings, you won't get a girlfriend. Well, so Jean has Cyclops at this point. I don't remember Jamie from last week with the whole apocalypse debacle or whenever it was we did 2 weeks ago. Cyclops is still dealing with this clone of Jean that he doesn't know is a clone. He's married to a woman who looks exactly like Jean. So Angel, being the dirty dog he is, has obviously just immediately gone, great, Jean's back. Because Jean has died and then come back. It's all very complicated. It's all very complicated. So then we get to X Factor 34. Okay, he's not Angel anymore. Were you pretty shocked by this, Dan? Yes?
No, I just remember the really funny bit where where the TV's on and they're talking about how he's lost his wings and now they're coming for him in the courts or something because of X Factor or something.
Yeah.
And then he says to Jean, "What are you doing?" And she says, "I'm using my power for good to help you." And with her mind, she turns the TV off.
Yeah.
And it's
she's
right
a remote
there.
control at this point.
Yeah. Using my powers for good.
Yeah, this is 1987 by this point. Yeah. Yeah, and everything. It's a bit like, that, I can't remember what it's in, but there's something where someone's broke up with someone and they turn on the radio and every song they play is sort of like, I can't live if loving without you, or whatever, It's a bit like the newspaper just says, Angel, no more. I wasn't sure. I didn't know people particularly knew about it. I thought the whole idea of the X-Men was no one really knew them, but anyway, he feels humiliated by this. But it does feel like the end, mate. It was always gonna happen. You're not strong, fast. I suppose he's fast when but you can't be going in the sewers, mate.
No, it's not your place.
You're not. And obviously, this goes back to parental neglect. This goes back to Professor X, doesn't it? I mean, his whole he did make him fly through a lot of death traps early on. But he didn't.
One of them a sewer? I don't know.
No, if a big bloke just grabs you in the sewer, and then someone else has got 2 harpoons. And he's coming at you with these harpoons. Oh my god. Okay, so then he dies, comes back. Now you've seen him in this issue, 30 Thor. I wanted to give you this one because it's crazy violent. It probably doesn't make a lot of sense. In a nutshell, his X Factor was set up by him and his other posh friend, Cameron Hodge. Turns out Cameron Hodge had set the whole thing up. He's actually a horrible racist, and he set the whole thing up to somehow destroy them, but it's not clear how. And he actually runs this group of anti-mutant people. Angel has now returned as Archangel with his deadly sharp wings and just goes to bloody town on him. And there's demons.
Yeah. There's that, but I have to say, I hope I'm going to say this now so that it features into the points system or whatever it is these days. I do like this kind of like setting him up as this, like, he's rich, he's gorgeous, he's got everything, he flies around, blah, blah, blah. And then there's this awful, tragic heel turn thing where now he's literally carrying like these wings that kind of control him in a way. They give him these dark urges. I like all that.
Yeah. And then ultimately that leads to Uncanny X-Force 18, which I really enjoyed. Possibly the opening didn't make much sense. Essentially what has happened is he's become Archangel again after not being Archangel for a bit. But it turns out that Apocalypse not only turned him into Archangel, he kind of gave him programming so he would carry on Apocalypse's work, which is this Darwinian idea of killing all the people who are not fit enough. And so he's ascending to be kind of like the ultimate mutant. And they try and stop him.
Right. And that's where,
I did, to be fair, give you the finale of a very long run. So it probably didn't make any sense. But what a lovely chop 'em up bloodbath.
I was looking through my notes and I was like, oh yeah, all I've got there is whoa for this one. Because this is where he gets, finally in the end, he gets stabbed up, he gets shivved.
Like Psylocke. Yeah,
is it a special thing?
She can create a psychic blade.
Oh, right, here we go. Right.
Sometimes it is just a blade. So I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, so it wasn't like he has to be killed by a certain thing, like it's kryptonite or something.
No, I don't think so. But I do love that bit where she kills him, and then suddenly he somehow sees his entire life from that point with her.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, that was great. Really,
It's
really
like it's like the beginning of Up.
Yeah,
Just like a really crash course of their life together. That's
beautifully
nice.
painted. He has this dream of he sees himself marrying Psylocke. They have kids together. He sees their kids growing up, and then the last bit is him lying in a hospital bed, just saying, "I've just had the most amazing life."
Yeah, he gets Private Ryan, doesn't he? At the end, it turns into the old man.
Yeah, is that what
It's like Matt Damon at the graveyard, and then he turns into old man Damon.
there was a brilliant old Alan Moore Future Shock in 2000 AD, which were these short stories, and it was just a man living his life, gets to like about 40, and then suddenly wakes up one day. He's got his family and everything. Wakes up one day and he's just lying on a bed in a sort of laboratory, and he's a robot, and they've been programming his memory, and they explain to him, "Oh, we're just running a simulation," and he's like, "What? No, you can't. You can't." It's really good. And they say, "Oh, we're just going to shut it down now. We've done enough of the experiment." He's like, "No, no, please, please give me the rest. Give me the rest of my life." And then finally the scientist goes, "All right, fine." And then just gives him the rest of his life. And they just see someone pressing a button. Like, that's the end. Anyway, they do that with Angel. They do that with Angel. That's how she beats him, is somehow, I guess, gives him the rest of his life.
So is that part of her psychic weapon then? Or is it?
I guess so.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure what was happening, but yeah, she defeats him. There's that whole bit where he's fighting Genesis, who is sort of like a new Apocalypse, who has been brought up as a hero. I enjoyed all that stuff, but probably didn't mean anything to you guys particularly. But there's a lot of fun fighting.
I think the writing's great in this, and I actually got a little bit of I felt a bit of emotion at the end, even though I hadn't been following this character. Oh, I've been following him, since about 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
With a coffee. So I was quite surprised how affecting that comic was.
I was going into this thinking Angel wouldn't be that high for me because he's just the guy with wings, but actually he's got a really good arc. And I think the fact that
Archangel.
Yeah.
Yes, very good, Jerry. Didn't think that. But the fact that he's quite pathetic.
Yeah.
And there's something, and despite the money makes it better. The fact he's got loads of money, but he's never going to be like Wolverine, cool, deadly, and could be shot 1,000 times and get up, or he just doesn't really ever have any authority. He's never the leader. He's just like, he's aware he's privileged. He's got loads of money. He's just bumming around in his pants on a butt. And then when it all goes really horribly wrong, that's great. There's a full storyline there. Lovely. Well done, Angel. Well done, Warren Kenneth Worthington III. When I say he comes back as a 10-year-old, it's changed since then, but he's kind of, I think the idea is at the end of that, you see him standing as Angel again with Psylocke, and I think the idea is she's wiped his mind. So he does then become some kind of like religious, or thinks he's Jesus or some stuff. I'm not quite sure what's going on. But yeah, it's essentially resetting him to zero. Good fun. Yeah, good fun. And also quite nice because a lot of superhero characters who are rich, like Batman, Iron Fist, Green Arrow, and they're, but they're never like pathetic because they're rich. It's never the fact that they're rich makes them kind of useless and a bit jealous, and yeah.
No, what makes him special is his wings. I say that.
Yes,
I quite like the fact that when he lost his wings, it's like, oh God, now I just have to be a rich person.
Yeah.
Is that all I have? I've lost my privilege.
Oh, but doesn't he like say stuff? It felt, I don't know what the writer was going through at the time, but it felt quite, Louise Simonson, I should point out, it felt quite accurate to depression and despair. The things, I can't remember what he's saying, but he's saying stuff just like, what's the point? Why am I still struggling? It just felt, and it was all little phrases, like his mind was shattered and he wasn't thinking straight. It wasn't like he's gone, oh, if I haven't got wings, I'm going to kill myself. It's like everything's just swirling round and round. And then some idiot puts a little button on the brain that you press and it blows up.
I don't think anyone will push
that wasn't probably the best way to end the episode, was it? Okay, well, there is Angel. There he is. So next, let's jump forward to excuse me. 2001, when we meet Angel Salvadore. Is it Salvador or Salvadore, Dan?
Well, you would pronounce the I guess in Spanish. Yeah.
You would say
Salvadore.
Salvadore.
Salvadore. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think she might be. Well, she's American. I think she might be. Her mum might be Brazilian. I'm not sure. I can't actually remember. Forgive me. She was created by the legendary Grant Morrison in his mind-bending new X-Men run in 2001. She's named Angel, but she definitely is no angel. Foul-mouthed and fun. I really enjoyed writing these. Foul-mouthed and fun, insecty mutant Angel Salvadore runs away from home straight into the arms of the sinister U-Men till she's saved by Wolverine in a sexy biker jacket. She agrees to study at the X-Men school, falling in love with chicken boy Butte. She has a bunch of babies that come out of eggs, but they're all happy. Until she accidentally joins a fake Magneto in half-destroying New York. But don't worry about any of that. Also, don't worry about a long period where she loses her powers. Somehow she loses all her puppy weight, which I think is one of the things that makes her more interesting, as in she doesn't look like all the other superheroes. She joins the New Warriors, who are shit, and for no reason calls herself Tempest, which doesn't relate to anything. Eventually, she gets her powers back. She joins Beak and the kids for a surprisingly domestic life on a farm. Oh, she's gone. She's done well. We read a bunch of pages from New X-Men 118, 119, 131, and 141. Angel Salvadore. I love her. I'm just going to say that from the top. I think she's very beloved generally. She may not be your standard superhero by any means. Snelgus, what was your take on Angel?
Oh, yeah, well, I'll happily give mine. I was just looking through the camera into the eyes of Jamie and trying to work out his thoughts. When you were saying that you love her, I'm guessing, I think Jamie might not, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe
I'm here for balance. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay, that's great. No, that's good. That's good. We don't want a bunch of yes men here. Who do you think I am? Donald Trump? Political.
Again, this one, like, you know, I opened where you told me to open, and boom, it hit hard. There's this big guy taking his belt off to her.
Her stepfather.
Oh, that's her stepfather.
Yeah, who's sort of got Elvis hair as well, which I like that detail.
Yeah. Well, she then says that she's 14, so she's, you know, she's just a kid at this point, and he's whipping her with a belt, and she's got all this stuff on her back, like these like bumpy stuff, and like you say, she's got a little bit of, well, a little tiny bit of a belly. Not, I mean, she's not huge or anything, but like you say, she's not like the classic sort of gleaming.
She looks like a real person,
like a real person. Yeah, which is
she's rare for Marvel Comics.
Yeah, and then like she tries to get away. She flies and then goes straight into some electric cables and like collapses on the floor, and then she's grabbed by these guys and shoved in the back of a van, and it's horrible what's happening to her to start with. It's really horrible. Yeah. I felt it. I felt sorry.
Very different to Warren Kenneth Worthington III's upbringing.
Goodness, yeah, she didn't have a penny to rub between them, and like
the stepfather, by the way, is gonna whip her or kick her out or whatever. It's all grim because she's a mutant, is the whole idea. But doesn't she call him a perv or something as well?
I was gonna say, I think there's some of that going on as well. It's really horrible what's happening to her. And then it doesn't get any better when she gets dragged into the back of this van, and when you see Wolverine open the door and you see the reveal of what's happening, I think they do a real good job. The noise she makes is like moo, like there's an M-U-U-U-U, and I knew exactly what that noise was immediately. I felt that. I don't think I can recreate it, but it's like she's trying to withstand the pain or whatever's happening to her. Like,
what are they doing? So I should point out, these are called the U-Men, which was a really weird idea. They're like rich men who want to be mutants, basically. So they're like jealous that there are mutants. They're trying to like steal mutant powers, but in a kind of it's sort of like feels very Botoxy almost. Do you know what I mean? It's very grim. And they all wear these they also believe that they don't want contamination. They're like germaphobes or something. So they all wear these kind of like underwater helmet scenario. So yeah, these sinister men in underwater diving helmets are trying to capture her in a van.
And she's what I like is all that kind of realness to this. So like, it's in the back of a van. She hits a pylon. There's like these real life things. She's being hit with a belt. It feels very real to me.
There's no jet pogo sticks, for example.
Exactly. And so for me, it feels more affecting having like the sort of superhero stuff, but in this real dirty world. So yeah, she's shoved in the back of this van. They've strapped her down. You just get one glimpse of her struggling as they're doing who knows what to them. And by this point, yeah, you want Wolverine to go in there and slash them up.
Is this the one where he kind of blacks out for a second? Where you see him open the van doors and then it goes black and then cuts back to him and he's just got blood all over him.
Yeah.
Oh, and he goes, sorry, I blacked out. That's so good.
Yeah.
And he's just slashed up all those.
And I think
filthy
I think you've got to have some of that horrible darkness sometimes in order to cheer on, Wolverine giving him a slashing.
Yeah. You want to see her saved from this situation.
Yeah.
Obviously. So then she hangs out with Wolverine for a bit, where they're in the diner and she throws up on her food. Did you get to that bit?
Yeah.
The other thing I like is all her mutant powers are disgusting. So she's kind of, even though she's called Angel, she's kind of disgusting. She throws up on her dinner before she eats it, stuff like that. It's really fun.
She threw up on Wolverine.
Sort of like got butterfly wings. What's that?
Well, she threw up on Wolverine at first. When he puts his hand out to save her, she's obviously like terrified and like, ugh. And she calls him a pervert because she thinks he's gonna touch her wings and stuff. It's dark.
Yeah. She goes, get your hand off my wings, doesn't she?
Yeah. And then she pukes on him and like starts to burn through his flesh. And he's like, oh, there's got to be some alkali around it somewhere. Oh, yeah.
It's great. The whole sequence of events is really engaging. Really, she melts his hand off, but he's just like so used to this kind of thing. He's just like, oh,
not again.
So then did you get to these last two episodes? Basically, one of the defining things about Angel, which is lovely, is her relationship with Beak. Not that she's defined by Beak. I don't mean like that, but Beak is, I think he's Dutch as well, which is a really weird, tiny little detail that Grant Morrison's put in, that he's a Dutch chicken boy and he looks like a kind of revolting chicken, sort of featherless. Do you know what I mean? He's not like a, I mean, just the fact he's a chicken boy is great. He doesn't really have any abilities. He's not even like Angel. He's not as in Warren. He can't even fly. He can just literally flap.
Poor Beak.
And she gives him a big kiss.
Yeah.
But then it turns out it's a dare.
I know. I felt so sorry for Beak. She gets $20 from her mates. I couldn't believe you kissed him. Yeah. She's quite badass, isn't she? Because she's had a tough start to life, so she's doing that kind of like, not letting anything get close to me. I'm not gonna be hurt again, like spiky thing, and you can kind of because we've seen where she's come from. You can have
she's sticking a finger up, and understandably,
Yeah.
Great character. And again, in superhero comics, it's great to have someone who's not like, a sort of upper class twit.
Yeah.
But also I think it's not a nice word, but I think they call her a skank. So that's kind of how the other mutants perceive her. But she again doesn't care. She just wants the $20. And then finally, but that mean little thing she does to him actually blossoms into a real love affair, and they end up having babies.
Beautiful.
It brings
I know, I really
come out of eggs, and they've all got Beak's face, but wings, but butterfly wings.
Yeah, so it's all beautiful,
Right.
But she's murdered someone.
Yeah,
there's that.
Well, it turns out she's shot Emma Frost
in the face. She said
back to life in the face, but I think she's mind controlled by a Magneto clone. You don't need to know. You don't.
Okay.
She's not actually guilty of that.
Oh, right.
It was not really her fault. It's not really her fault. There's another wonderful story where they're living on a farm, and it's just them as a family, and these gangsters try to take over, and it's them trying to find their way out. Do you know what I mean? It's like a hostage situation. It's really good. And I love her to bits. Jamie.
Yeah, not me. Not for me. No.
James literally wearing a badge that says "I hate skanks."
I don't know why. Maybe it rubbed me up the wrong way. I didn't like the character. I didn't like the style of the comic. I didn't like this very much at all.
Wow.
All of it just for some reason just rubbed me up the wrong way.
I'm sorry, I don't really do alternative opinions.
That's all right. You can edit this bit out. Your free speech.
Good to hear. Okay, fine. Can you nail down why you didn't like Angel Salvadore?
I think it was the tone of the comics I felt was like deliberately a little bit like gross and like gritty for the sake of gritty.
Exploitative sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Didn't like the Brood. Not keen on those guys at all. Didn't like the
children.
No, creepy.
It creeped you out. It actually creeped you out.
It did.
So the whole kind of, I guess, if you were to nail down the essence of why of her story and stuff, it's that, just because someone's gross, different, odd, they can still be loved. They're still capable of love and brilliance, and you just they're just gross.
That's what I've objected to. Okay, I mean you've painted me a fairly negative picture there, but it's fair.
To be fair, you do look, when you look as gorgeous as you,
exactly
those locks.
I sneer at people with beaks and large wingspans.
Okay, we're running out of time. This is great. I like talking about Angel Salvadore. Let's be interested to see where she goes in the list, though, because okay, that's going to be a tough debate. Let's crash through the last two, if that's all right. I don't have a huge amount to say about either of them. So the original Angel, before there was Warren Worthington, there was the Angel from the first ever 1939 Marvel comic, as in the first ever Marvel comic in 1939, which was just called Marvel Comics, featured Namor, the Submariner, and Human Torch. The only really superheroes at this point were Batman, Superman, and a few other knockoffs. So Angel is up there. This version of the Angel, Thomas Holloway, yes, Thomas Holloway, literally a man with a cape, a drawing of some wings on his chest, and a snazzy mustache. That's it. But don't mess. He's packing, and my God, he hates crime. That's cracking right up in there. After killing loads of gangsters and Nazis and such, he vanishes for ages before coming back briefly as the head of the Scourge organization in Captain America, an organization that kills gangsters and Nazis and such. Good on you, mate. You're doing God's work. So this is a really old comic. It's done almost like in a newspaper strip style. I mean, there's something beautifully quaint about it. But he really is just a man in at times it looks like a jumper. A jumper with a drawing of some wings on.
Yeah.
Did you have anything to say about him?
I mean, I love this one for the same reasons that I didn't like the previous one. It's absolutely charming early comic book stuff, like with someone with seemingly no powers at all, being absolutely brutal and just killing bad guys. He hates crime so much. He kills so like six people. He kills like six guys, and my favorite bit is where like the fourth and fifth guy that he kills just shoot each other. He somehow goads them into shooting each other.
Two shoot each other. The other one is the bit where he gets in the back of the car, and then the guy gets
his neck
in the car in front of him, and then he just strangles him.
Yeah, strangles him.
He always seems to be strangling
someone else. But he's got him in a proper.
There's a lot of strangling.
Mando style headlock.
And then the big boss at the end, he kills him by throwing a heavy chair at him. I love that. And I think he throws a heavy chair at him, and then he sort of smacks his head on the fireplace and dies.
If there was a movie of this, I think it would be. There is a movie called Super. I don't know if you've ever seen that, which James Gunn made, which was kind of like Kick-Ass. It's Dwight from The Office. Have you seen that one? Yeah. But he just run around with a wrench, like hitting people. And this has that vibe. But I quite like if you did one where it wasn't. But with that, it's kind of very much he's like, a nutter. Where if it was like a normal superhero, what I mean? He's kind of like got him. He's good looking, rich guy and all that. But he is just properly strangling and like.
I also love that I got to the very last. The very last panel has like a close up or a closer up of his face, and you don't see him quite that close up, and he's got like a kind of pencily mustache. He looks like Clark Gable. It's he's just like classic 1930s. Like,
Oh, I
Gone
guess
with the
in
Wind was gaming.
1939. In fact, knowing like in 1939, that was how those superheroes. Sorry, that's how like Hollywood stars all had big tashes, didn't they?
Yeah.
So actually, it's quite surprising there aren't more. It's
It
quite
is.
surprising Superman never had a tash.
The whole comic is
No.
very, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. It's like it's
Wonderful.
it's very like just
My other favorite death is when he. So first of all, to point out, the villains are just called the Six Big Men.
Yeah.
They just run it. The first page is just them all running into shops, and officers are just saying, "Give us your money or we'll beat you up." And then Angel just starts killing them all. But one of them dies because Angel runs in the room and he's so frightened. He's so frightened of a man with a mustache wearing a jumper with some wings on it that he just runs out the window.
Yeah.
But it says he picks the wrong window. He thinks he's running onto the fire, so he just falls out and dies. Just an image of this man just legging it out the room and falling. It's all really unintentionally funny.
very, very, very quickly. Do you just want to explain about Lil at the end?
Okay, fine, yeah. Please do.
No. I would like you to explain because
Who is Lil?
yes,
Is that the woman who's working for the boss?
yes.
Oh, I don't think she ever comes back, as far as I know. I
That's
did
a
look up.
shame.
So this angel was created by Paul Gustavov. I should have written that down.
You could be making that up, but it doesn't matter.
Really did anything else. I think he just created. When you look him up on the Marvel app, it's just got like creator of Angel, Lil, Dr. Chang, all these characters who are just like people who appeared in Angel once, sort of thing. There is a delightfully handwritten note that they find at the scene of the crime that Angel has left, just of the list of all the people he's going to strangle, push out of windows, run over. But it's really like written, do you know what I mean? Like lovely joined up writing. It's really. So that's Thomas Holloway. Finally, Angela, unless anyone's got any particular points on that one.
Just my quote I quite liked was after literally mashing him into a pulp, Mike Malone like that's how he deals with people. Throttles them and mashes them into pulps, literally.
Literally.
Messing about. He's not messing about. Finally, Angela. Angela, created by Neil Gaiman for Image Comics Spawn, not a Marvel Comics. She was stuck as a character in real life in a weird court battle for ages before being sold to Marvel. Not sure what happened or why. Don't really care that much. But anyway, it's probably quite interesting. They should make a Netflix docudrama about it. Thor discovers in the series Original Sin, when Big Baby Man the Watcher loses an eye and weird secrets are revealed, that he has a secret sister called, of all things, Angela. And it turns out, you thought there were only 9 realms. There's only a bloody 10th one called Heaven, but not with an A. And there are angels, but they're not really angels. In the past, Asgard battled Heaven. What am I saying here? Oh, yeah. Asgard battled Heaven in a big old battle, and Odin sent them to another dimension. In the process, his baby daughter is destroyed, or so he thinks. He's so upset, he just never tells Thor or Loki about that they've got this baby sister. In actual fact, the daughter is taken to Heaven and brought up to be a deadly warrior who uses a weird sash thing, which is literally a lovely ribbon that somehow kills. Eventually, she finds out who she really is, i.e. Thor's sister, but she just reacts with hatred for everyone. She's another punk. Jamie's going to hate her. And she becomes an assassin. The end. I don't know that much about Angela. She's a very new character, relatively, but a lot of fun. And a fun idea that they kind of turn this in the third Thor movie into Hela. If you've seen that one, Thor Ragnarok. So Hela is kind of made into their secret sister, which is kind of this idea. What do you think? Do we like it?
All right. So I'll say then, for me, this like where the previous two, well, not the one we've just spoken about, but where Salvadore and the first angel were written beautifully. This one for me ain't.
Ooh.
This one, nah. This one, it kind of felt like Who was that guy that you really liked and I didn't like? Who turns up on his motorbike? He's the Native American, and he just kicks ass.
American Eagle.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Okay.
It felt the same as that for me, where it's like there were two. Basically, there's just two people talking about her for the whole time, just saying how cool she is. She's fast. She's this. She's that. They won't stand a chance. And it was just laid on a bit thick for me. I really liked the idea of this one, but I got the ick. I'm sorry, got the ick.
Yeah, I feel I kind of want to like it. I like the idea that it's Thor's sister. I think that's Secret Sister. That's a fun idea. But it is literally an Image Comics character shoved into the Marvel Universe. And Image Comics, the old 90s Image Comics, are all a bit like this. They're all a little style over substance, shall we say. Also, she's got white eyes for no reason. Her eyes are like, which is fine, but a lot of characters do in comics, but just looks a bit odd. Anyway, that's not a criticism. Why did I say that? I don't know. I thought you might like all the goblins and stuff. It's very Conan.
I did, but this is it. Yeah, style, as you say, cool. I like this because she's wandering through limbo, and yeah, she ends up in this place where there's goblins and yeah, I like some of the art's really, really cool. I do like the art, but
but what about the story within the story? That was pretty cool.
Oh, right. Okay. Again, that concept. So there's some concepts I like. There's the style I like. It's just the writing I don't like. So the idea that there's in this angels, they're kind of like the Lannisters. Like they always pay their debts. There's this kind of thing where you have to pay debts. They don't do anything for free. So I think she saves a kid, doesn't she?
I would not like Angela to read my bloody credit card bill, I'll tell you that.
Well, she might give you 3 chances to pay it back, and if you don't, she'll leap through the air and stab you in the chest.
This little story is great. Sorry, Dan, tell this story because I love this.
Yeah, make sure I tell it correctly, because as I said, this was read pretty swiftly this morning over my cereal. But she saves a kid, right? She saves a kid, but says to the kid, I think, I'm going to be coming back and claiming what you owe me, which is essentially your life, because I've saved your life. It's mine now. See you in a bit. And then this kid ends up being a king, right? It's the same.
Up to be the king, of this area, of this alien world.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah.
And the king has got someone, a criminal by the sounds of things, who's done awful things, and is about to punish this criminal. When in comes Angela and says, no, I'll have this one. Yeah. And I'll consider
Sarah, who I think is her girlfriend, I think.
Oh, I see. I didn't know there was some previous there.
I think
I would like to point out that it's Sarah, like spelled Sera, and not Sarah, because Sarah and Angela would be like, that's just like two people who work in a bank. Like that's
HR.
Like they're just on a lunch break.
Yeah.
So the king's like, I'm sorry, I can't let you have. Sorry, Sarah. She's done all these bad things. She's going to be punished. And Angela's not happy about that. She says, look, you owe me. Second chance. Let me have her. Nah, mate. Okay, third chance, and I'm actually going to beg you. She says, I beg you. So she gives him a chance. Look, please. I can't do this. She needs to be punished. Whoa! She flies through the air, stabs him in the chest, mercilessly, and debt paid because he's dead. And she takes Sarah, and off they go.
So so she kills the baby she saved.
Yeah.
Now he's a grown man. I mean, that's pretty awesome, legendary. I think as a writer, it's Kieran Gillen, who's actually a pretty good writer. He does a good job of the legendariness and the epicness and mythological feel. But as a character, are you ever going to relate to that character? She's kind of Clint Eastwoody in that people talk about how cool they are, but they just then kill people but don't really develop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the writing in when you were talking about how the feeling of depression that Angel had and transmitted to us with just little bits of text, that's great writing. We felt that, but this, I'm sorry, I didn't feel a lot here.
Jamie, are you in a similar camp?
I'm here for balance. I really like this one. And
fair enough.
I thought the writing in particular, I thought the character was a little bit like dropped in. It does feel like it's like, oh, here's a thing we need to write like a background for and like do something with, which I think the name Angela just really suits. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it.
Fair enough.
I love that Sarah has a horse called Maximus Klopp.
Yeah, I think you're wrong about the right. I'd say.
How can you call that bad writing? It's called Maximus Klopp. That's genius.
Maximus Klopp. I mean, that's great. That could be a good theatre company. Maximus Klopp Theatre Company. Yes, it's actually an obscure line from Shakespeare. Othello says it, I believe. No, but it's I think maybe it's the case of the writing with the pictures is just too much for me. It was overwhelming and hard to look at. Even though I thought it was good writing and good art, but it was all too much. Okay, fine. Well, let's put these guys in order. I'm afraid we've gone over a little bit. I'm going to have to stop. I promised I'd finish the boxers. Dan, do you have anything for Science Corner that we could quickly jump into?
People can't fly, actually.
Okay, all right. Let's hang on. Let's enter Science Corner.
Science Corner.
Dan, can people fly?
No.
Okay, Dan, we're now leaving Science Corner.
Can a jet pogo stick be made?
I wasn't prepared for that one. Yeah, of course it could. Yeah. Mini jets.
It wouldn't be a pogo stick by that point, would it? It would just be a stick flying. It would be a flying stick because the whole point of pogoing is that it goes up and down.
Right.
Yeah, a jet would just go up, right?
And that's why pogo, it just means it like shoots you up into the air and then good luck getting down, mate. And then you just hope you land in the right place.
I suppose if it had a jet that flipped so that it kind of went up and then down with a really powerful pogo motion.
Well,
they're all just throwing up. All these goons, these henchmen are just throwing up as they're trying to kill Warren Worthington's dad. Okay.
To put some pointless science into it, like a doorbell, you press, you know how that works, where it's an electromagnet. You press it, it sets off. There's an electromagnet which lifts the hammer up to the bell. It hits the bell, but by doing that, it breaks the electromagnet, so it falls back down again. Starts the circuit again, so it brings it up, so you get that brrrr motion. On, off, on, off, on, off. You could do that with the pogo stick. So as it bounces, it fires off the jet. It fires up, but then it breaks the circuit. The jet turns off, and it has to bounce on the spring again to complete the circuit again and fire the jet off. And that's how you'd make it a jet pogo stick.
I mean, I think it would be more easier to just have henchmen on bikes, on push bikes.
BMXs, like in Karate Kid.
Yeah,
I love that Dan says, you know, like how a doorbell works, and I'm like, yeah, you press a button and a bell rings. That's not science, that's magic.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you, Dan. That was good. That was a good bit of Science Corner there. Right, let's put these in the list. Right, Warren Worthington III, Angel. Is he above Apocalypse? Dan, you didn't. Is he above Magneto, first of all?
We can't. Oh, that's a tough. No, I don't think so. No, can't be above Magneto. I mean, he's good. I really like Angel.
Okay, shall we put him as the new number 2?
Who's he
Dan,
kicking out?
Here for Apocalypse.
No,
Apocalypse currently number 2.
How did the P become before the N?
Yeah, well, we did discuss that.
Because I created the Angel specific episode. That's why. So Magneto, I'm going to do the top 5. Magneto, Apocalypse, Abigail Brand, Adam Warlock, Alicia Masters, Agatha Harkness, Abyss, Zombie. I mean, Angel, I'm not sure he's the best character, but he's got such a range that I think I'm going to put him as number 2. No?
For me, he's a massive weenie. Okay. I mean, literally, my notes just read, this guy's a weenie. And I don't use that word a lot or at all.
Okay.
But I liked him as Archangel. He was less of a weenie, but then he became a weenie again. So I don't see him above Apocalypse for me.
Okay. Have you got the order there? I've sent you both the order. Can you see where would you put him? Would you put it? He's got to go above Agatha Harkness, hasn't he? No.
I'm happy for him to go third above Abigail Brand.
Okay.
But probably not any higher than that.
Fine. Angel / Archangel. Okay. Who's next? Salvadore. Where do we put our hero? Dan and I's favorite hero. A hero to some, just another bloody
skank.
waster, taking all them benefits, grossing up the diners to Jamie. I'd put her pretty high.
Pretty high, but I'm not sure there's enough there to be really high. Like, I don't think she's not as much as Angel's got, I don't think.
More than Amadeus Cho, remember him? Mastermind Excello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say more than that. I would say definitely less than Abyss. I mean,
okay. All right. Well, Zombie, which you haven't read, Zombie is literally a man who cannot talk or think.
I feel like that sometimes on these episodes.
He's one below Abyss. I'm going to put Angel below him. He was Nick's Abyss. Nick's sort of wild card, which I agree. I'd love you guys to read the Zombie. They're all on the list. You must catch up at some point. I know you've got enough to read as it is. Okay, then we go to, Thomas Holloway, packing, strangling, pushing people out of windows. Where does he go? No. Oh, Dan.
Well, I mean, he's, there's not, and surely there's not enough to him to put him that high up. Charming. I agree. Charming.
Above American Eagle.
I mean, if we go back and look at the criteria that we set up for this, then I don't feel like he scores particularly highly on any of those, like originality, and we had criteria once.
We need to remember the criteria.
He's a good sort of good guy. Is he a superhero? Not. I mean, he threw a chair at someone. Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's a lot of fun. But yeah, okay, fine. I'd say he's above the really shit ones.
Arrow, for instance. Is it Arrow?
Yeah. Do you remember Abomination? He's not above Abomination?
No.
Do you remember Alexander Pierce, the Shield guy? Dan?
Not very clearly, no.
Let's put him above him.
Okay.
He's one below Dracula. Yes. We've done... I know, you've got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, this was the episode Colin did where it was basically just characters from the Monster Mash song rather than Marvel comics.
They in the 70s basically Marvel printed a load of horror characters.
Okay.
But it's Dracula, so we're kind of like, it's not it can't really get original. And also it's not even a very good version of Dracula. So finally, Angela. I mean, based on what you just said, really, she should go above Thomas Holloway because he really is a man in a jumper punching people.
Yeah, there's some story there.
John Prescott. Man in a jumper punching people.
Yeah, that is John Prescott, to be fair. But below Angel Salvadore. Oh, Jamie, you didn't even get to bring Angel Salvadore down.
No, I'm happy to concede that it's a good character. I just didn't love the comic.
Shall we put Angela below Absorbing Man, above the Ancient One? Does that sound?
For me, below Absorbing Man is a good benchmark.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay,
definitely
better than Abomination then.
Ooh.
Ooh. Below Abomination.
I think below.
Okay. All right, fine. But above Thomas Holloway.
Yeah.
Above
sounds
Dracula.
like we're literally a little bit sexist if we go, a man who just runs around a jumper punching people is better than,
a lady in a jumper punching people.
Who, to be fair, runs around slashing people with a sash, with a sort of ribbon that's somehow deadly. Lovely. Well, boys, we've done it. Once again, this list is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. We're going to have to put some kind of structural things in here or the whole thing's going to collapse. I don't know how. Let's come back to that another time. Next week, we are Dan and I, and hopefully Mr. Nick Crick, are finally going to meet Remy LeBeau, Le Gambit. We were meant to do this ages ago. It all fell apart. We're actually going to finally do it. I'm afraid you're not there, Jamie, because I know you're a bit of a fan.
I would just do the accent all the time, and it would really annoy people. It's probably best that I sit that one out.
It's quite a hard one to do. Sure. No, what was that? That was gross.
Someone talking to Cher.
Hey, Cher. Hey, Cher. Cher. I'm your biggest fan, Cher. Lovely. Thank you for listening, everyone. Don't forget to join A-Bomb. No, oh God. Don't forget to join patreon.com/A-Bomb to Zzzax. Goodbye, everybody.
See you later.
See you later. And through it all, she offers me protection. Love and affection.
You have been listening to A-Bomb to Zzzax, my favorite Marvel character, with me, Colin Holt, and my friends Dan Snellgrove and Jamie Firth. There they go! Please remember to support us at patreon.com/A-Bomb to Zzzax.